And we are live with Nazar Mozhovyi, with CEO of Ecola, wonderful project on their pilot stage. And now Nazar from Kiev will explain us his motivation, the uniqueness of his approach, and the mentality we need to implement just to share his story and be able make the world a better place. I don't like that phrase, but it's actually possible because today we will talk about the unique approach towards personal waste management, and we will try to implement some great ideas from his life, from his story, and from his project. Nice to meet you. Nice to see you here.
Nice to meet you, Aaron. Nice to meet you, dear audience. Thank you for the invitation.
Okay, so let's start. First of all, please, could you explain what's Ecola is all about? What's your uniqueness towards waste management, and why you decided to make that beautiful project?
First of all, Ecola is a Ukrainian British technology startup which provides for household, organization, and municipalities a smart and simple way to recycle their waste. To explain it in more applied way, I would say that our product is a platform which consists from 6 different functional models. First module, it's a training module through which we could teach users to sort or to recycle their garbage or waste. Second module, it's a module for Eco Scanner where you could scan different products and see how are they environmental friendly or not, what is their eco rating and carbon footprint, and based on that modify your consumer behavior. Third module, actually it's an interface through which you could create an order for different recycling services. For example, order a courier which will pick your recyclables for further recycling. Then we have logistic module which help us to optimize all logistics for collection recyclables for further processing. We have loyalty module which give an ability to distribute different perks and benefits for the users based on their behavior. And in the end of the day, we have a module which help us to manage sorting facilities. It's like a software as a service for waste management companies who are sorting the recyclables. So generally, Ecola is a platform. And what is Ecola about? Ecola is about solving the waste problem in a world, because usually, we have very developed world right now. We have this crypto trends, we have blockchain, all of other technologies which are booming right now. But unfortunately, also we have a metaverse. But unfortunately, people forget that we are like ordinary human beings and we are living on an earth. And our consumption generates a lot of waste. And if we will not care about our consumption behavior, about our behavior, how should we process our waste, which is a result of our consumption, we will not have planet in the nearest future. Just for the audience understanding, the whole Earth society generates approximately 2.5 billion tons of solid waste each year. And this amount of the waste increase approximately 10% every year. And unfortunately, there is no any location in the world which fix waste problem. For example, US recycling level is lower than 30%. Average Europe recycling level is approximately 30%. Yes, we have some countries like Sweden or Japan when they recycle more than they generate, but this is more as an exclusion than a common way of things in this industry. So, our understanding here, what is the main, I would say, what is the main source of this problem is that current society consider waste problem as something which should be solved by a government, by municipalities, not by an individuals. Our view on a waste problem is completely different. We would like to share the idea that your waste approach should be as a part of general human ethics. So, like we could say that this is a good person because, for example, he's, I don't know, helping his parents or his grandma, etc., or helping poor people. The same we should do with the waste approach. Waste management and waste approach of individuals of any organization should be part of cultural assessment or ethical assessment of this individual of an organization, and we are trying to do this. Sorry for the long introduction.
No. It's absolutely perfect. First of all, you need to know that you have wonderful mentality and let's say very broad perspective, way bigger and than any government representative in my country, for example, Latvia, working with that problem. So you are on that level. You are ready to, let's say, to explain regulators how to act. Secondly, I love that approach towards personal responsibility. You know, the freedom begins with responsibility. So we are, as Elmas land, is a land of freedom. But you know, when you start thinking of what freedom is all about, what the power is all about, it's responsibility. You're starting to gain power. You're starting to have a freedom when you ready to take the whole responsibility for every action. And I like your approach. I also share that mentality that we should not wait for the regulators. I have a lot of experience working with regulators all over the world, for example, Latvia, and I know their approach. Secondary, let's be honest, mostly that business is looks like mafia. You know, waste management in a lot of countries, it's like mafia. And you could not ask somebody else to, let's say, address your interests, address your, let's say, very good motives, address your mentality and your values, because they have different values. They playing their own game, and that idea of some sort of wise and good and strong and powerful guy somewhere on the top of the mountain that will help you to let's say manage the recycling process in your neighborhood, it's just nonsense. It just totally, it's like, it's so blind, like it's childish, very childish approach. So I like your approach. You're taking control over the whole process. Please explain us your methodology, because we are talking with a lot of projects responsible for waste management, all that carbon credits and other very important components of that type of bio-responsibility. But show us that user journey. What should I, being part of Ecola, what should I do to act and play in your game?
Answering your question, first of all, I want to make a note is that our solution is focused on different types of the users. In the core of our model, individuals and organizations who are aiming to become eco-friendly and to reduce their negative footprint on the environment. But although we have two other I would say users, it's companies or individuals who are collecting recyclables and companies who are processing the recyclables further. So let's start from the first one, how the user journey looks like. If we are talking about an individual, first of all, we should start from the sorting rules. You could not recycle your waste if you do not understand how to do it. Usually, recycling is, I would say, it's depreciation chain. Because when you consume the goods, for example, let's take an ordinary example. Let's take a dairy products, PET bottle with the milk. You buy milk in a shop, then you like drink that milk, and some part of that milk is on the bottom of your bottle, and you put it like into recycling bin. It could seem like a good approach, but actually not, because there is an organic waste inside. That waste should be prepared to to give an ability to your bottle become a recyclable, you know, because as soon as yeah.
So let's starting to simplify all of that. I do realize that you spent, let's say, years, maybe decades, thinking about all of that, and now you're doing give us a huge amount of information. But let's start with the simplest things. For example, we have a milk bottle. Do you mean paper or it's a glass?
Plastic bottle. Let's take a plastic bottle.
Okay, wonderful. So I just need to clean it before I will put it in the trash.
Yes, the first stage, how to make any package become a recyclable material, to clean it. This is the first part.
Should I dry or the water inside, or I could leave the water inside? Because, you know, the water could be sometimes contaminated. It could create some kind of...
Better to dry, but this is not critical. Better to dry, but it's not critical.
Wonderful. So
clean, okay. Dry optional, and then you need like to compact it to make it like as it's to press it as much as possible to reduce.
Sorry, why it's important? Because for example, in Lithuania and Latvia, I'm putting the whole bottles in that vending machine, and they give us that credits. Let's say, so I'm exchanging the bottle in a normal in that normal conditions. But do you tell me that in another part of the world, working with Ecola, I should destroy that bottle? Because I like to compress the bottle.
I could explain that stuff. Usually, the countries who are approaching this vending system, when in different supermarkets there is this vending machines which are collecting the bottles, we name this approach like a blind money approach, because these vending machines are financed by transnational corporations like Coca-Cola, Pepsi, and all the rest, and usually they invest in these machines instead of receiving tax benefits from the government. They do not pay ecological tax instead of that machine. So actually they are not they do not really care about the further the logistic optimization, cost optimization on the collection stuff of this question. They are more care about how many of the bottles will be collected. And this is a little bit like different model. Some of these vending machines could also compact that bottle. Some of them could not. But why is compacting is so important? Because in the end of the day, your waste will travel a lot. It will travel to the sorting station. From the sorting station, it will travel to further recycling, etc. And if you will put into a bin unpressed materials, there will be not materials travel, there will be in air travel. So if you not compact, you increase your footprint, I would say, instead of decreasing it.
Wonderful. So I do realize your model. I have a couple comments regarding the overall chain of all of the vending machines, because they have absolutely another story on the other side. They actually recycling it. They have because, you know, the plastic, it's a money. If you have a clean plastic,
Definitely.
if it's so, it's just money. Maybe in Ukraine, the Coca-Cola company not so responsible, but in our countries, in Latvia and Lithuania, it feels like it's not just Coca-Cola company or all of that big corporations. It feels like it's local players, and they somehow making money out of that plastic. So they know how to, let's say.
Definitely, there are a lot of companies even in Ukraine who are recycling the plastic. So there are a lot of recycling companies in any country, I would say. But for example, like referring to your case with Coca-Cola and with these vending machines, Coca-Cola last year made a research what will be the size of investment to install vending infrastructure. There was a coalition between Coca-Cola, Pepsi-Cola, and all other like beverage producers to install the same vending system in Ukraine. So the total investment for that installment was approximately $4 billion. $4 billion. It's just like to produce that machines, to install it, and then to serve it like on a yearly basis. In our case, for example, Ecola, because Ecola is an application which very simple identify certain user, and through which we even could distribute money for that bottles instead of the machine. You could do it without zero investment. So just connect to our app. People will collect the bottles, will call a courier, they will take that bottles and give them money for the bottles. And actually, this is how it works in Ukraine. So it's very simple. You as a household just prepare your recyclables, put into one single package, order a courier. We have standard pickup or we have express pickup. In standard pickup, we will come to you next day. In express pickup, during 2 hours, courier will come to you like a Glovo or Delivery Hero, the same approach, but we will not deliver you something. We will take your garbage. After that, the garbage will be delivered to the sorting facility. There we will produce recyclables and we will sell them. So
it feels like I was thinking about that a lot. I was thinking about that, let's say, logistic optimization of that type of social activities a lot. I mean, like 5 years or more, or even 7 years, even working with some governments, helping them to, let's say, create that logistics optimization for that type of initiatives. It feels like it's easy, let's say, to use existing infrastructure. So if you are looking through the opportunity of, let's say, optimize the consumption of, let's say, and I mean, it's very efficient because, let's say, about Glovo. The Glovo couriers could, let's say, take that garbage on their way back from the client, because you just realize that it's just another process. The Glovo courier delivering something, but on their way back, they could, let's say, take the garbage to some point, or let's say hub where they where you could collect.
We even test a similar model in Kyiv, but not with the Glovo, with the taxi service, with one of the taxi service. So usually taxi drivers have a free space on their cabin, and they are like more, I would say, fast in the city. So if you have like small collection points all over the city, it's very easy to implement our model into existing like courier or delivery service. But right now in Ukraine, we have like individuals. It's approximately like 60 individuals, freelancers with a small like cargo buses, and they are riding through the territory of the Kyiv and Kyiv region all the day, collecting the orders through the application.
Wow. How many active users do you have right now? How many active users?
We have more than 12,000 active users.
Wow.
And approximately 150 different organizations.
How many years do you spend to get that user base? How long does it take to get?
Actually, this is the result for 1.5 years.
Wow, it's very good, by the way. It's so good. And let's try to explain for our viewers the overall concept. So I have bottles, let's say a couple Coca-Cola bottles. I'm not drinking Coca-Cola, but whatever. I have couple Coca-Cola bottles. I wash it. I, let's say, make it smaller, and I'm putting that in a bag. Also, I have waste, like I'm eating bananas. I'm putting that in another bag. And also, I have a glass. I mean, maybe jar or bottle of wine, from the bottle of wine. Sin alcohol, non-alcohol. I have a bottle of wine, and I put that bottle of wine to another bag, and then I'm putting all that 3 bags inside 1 bag. Or what? Could you explain me how to?
A little bit different. The first point here, if you are talking about rollout of our model in any like neighborhood or in any settlement, I would say. First of all, we need to understand what type of waste could be recycled in this neighborhood based on existing recycling infrastructure or based on the infrastructure of the nearby countries or the nearby societies. As soon as we understand this, what types of plastic could be recycled, what types of cardboard could be recycled, etc., do this neighborhood or nearby neighborhood has composting stations, etc., we develop a guide for the guys who are living on that territory. And in that guide, usually we simplify the quantity of the packages, or as we say it in a professional way, quantity of the fractions based on the logistic streams which we will have further after collection. In Ukraine, for example, we have just 2 streams. In one package, you should put all the recyclables, which will be further recycling. In another package, you could put all the recyclables which will be further incinerated. So some sort of materials could not be recycled. They could be only incinerated. And on the third bag or package, you could put all the rest of the waste, which will go to the landfill through your through your local infrastructure. In this regards, we collect usually 2 types of the bags, or we collect 1 bag if a person do not want to sort for incineration recyclables. He could give us 1 single bag and pay extra fee for the sorting that materials. But what is the concept of Ecola? That you do not need to sort the waste into different fractions like plastic, cardboard, etc., etc., etc. If it's for recycling, just put everything into 1 single package, both glass, metal, waste paper, plastic, everything into 1 package. After that, this will go to the sorting facility, and there will be sorted on an automatic sorting line.
Wow. We have, by the way, we have already 60,000 viewers right now. I don't know what's so interesting about our discussion, but it feels like it's very interesting. Let's help them to understand what's the economy behind all of that actions. Why they need to do, how they make money, being responsible and being, let's say, honest with the nature. Let's put it that way.
If we are talking about current pilot stage of our product in Ukraine, right now most of all households, if we are talking about the private sector, not not in apartments, they, by using Ecola, they decrease their costs for collection waste to the landfills. Because when you recycle, you could even receive money for your recycled materials. So actually, it's a little bit difficult to describe. But if you are a user of Ecola, you always have 2 ways. First way, you just need to prepare your waste, put it into 1 single bag, and give it to us. This is a paid service. You should pay for it, but it's usually cost less than if you will put it to the landfill. Second option, which you have as a user, you could keep more waste on your site, sort that waste, and sell it to us if you will have at least 50 kgs. And I would say 30% of our users prefer to sell. The rest prefer not to sell. They just put everything into one bin.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Okay, okay,
and
sorry. Okay,
sorry, the
sorry.
last comment,
Okay,
one
okay.
brief comment. So in a target, I would say picture, we expect huge international producers of different products to be connected to our platform. So they will be able to distribute real money to Ecola users for the collection. And instead of that, Ecola will sell recycling quotas to that company, which they will be able to use during their reporting processes to the government during ecological tax calculation.
Very complicated, very interesting and very complicated. It feels like very wise, very wise. But let's be honest. I know a lot of regulators. They're way stupid. They're stupid and way more stupid than you just.
Forget about regulators. If you are talking, for example, about like coalition of the beverage producers, they have like two options. First, invest 4 billions into building collection infrastructure or in Ukraine with these vending machines, or they just could connect to our platform and pay, I don't know, 1,000 times less.
Okay, wonderful. Do you have any, let's say, data related to, let's say, regulations that pushing all that beverage producers to make that such steps in different regions?
Definitely. In all Western countries, there is a regulation like extended producer responsibility. This regulation did not implement it in Ukraine yet, but will be implemented very soon. But I would say in any country where this extended producer responsibility works, usually it's the major or almost all European countries, the US, big producers are responsible for collecting their packages as a result of consumption of their goods. So government motivates them to increase the level of their collection of their waste and turning them back into the recycling. With our solution, it could be done in a very simple way. Because we don't need investments into hardware infrastructure. And secondly, which is also very important, and usually everybody who are from the waste management industry even do not think about it, we are IT company. And that means that we could target to wide audiences through the performance marketing, through the social medias, etc. So we could communicate to the people, and through different media kits, through different media advertisement, motivate people to recycle more and more and more.
It feels like you actually too wise to work with end users, even in on B2B side. You actually should sit somewhere on top, explaining all of the players how to act properly in a states where it's not so developed. It feels like a lot of countries on that continent, in South America and also Latin America needs your advice, because first of all, you are creating the industries. You could structure the industries. You definitely need to be somewhere on top, explaining everybody how to what's possible, because you have a wonderful the top-notch approach towards the whole industry. But let's talk about the Western mentality. Our Western guys will definitely sort their waste, and somehow, for example, in Latvia, we have not so many people, even in Germany, using all of the containers, but we have the containers for the glass, we have a container for the plastic, we have a container for paper, and could you explain what to do in that type of countries with the help of Ecola? Why they should, let's say, how they could sell the waste to Ecola? Why it's matter? Let's imagine that some base infrastructure already exists. How you will penetrate that type of markets? What should and what could they do to work with Ecola?
For that sort of the markets where already which have already sorting infrastructure in place and which already spent like millions of euros or dollars into establishing that infrastructure, we also could feed, but in a little bit different way. So first of all, like we still could provide an ability to track single users and their recycling efforts by installing smart sensors on the containers to be able to understand who exactly drop what sort of recyclables into what bins, and collect that data on for every single person. Secondly, we could also install separate sensors on the waste bin to track the fulfillment level. And based on that, instead of the users which we use in Ukraine who are creating the orders, sensor could create an order automatically to request a hauler which will collect recyclables of that bin and build the road. Actually, our platform could be integrated even there, but instead of the people who are like sorting, putting in a bag, or making an order, all of this could be done by the sensors, which will be installed on the existing infrastructure.
I hope let's say that stream is visible by some guys from, I mean, big guys, big players who could, let's say, understand how to implement the Ecola in their countries, because it feels like you need a huge team and you need a lot of money for marketing or whatever, or a lot of connections, because you have so many opportunities with your project. You are way bigger. I mean, we definitely as Elmas land could promote, let's say, that type of behavior among our members. We already have more than 30,000 members. We could promote that, create some campaigns. We even have, let's say, some crypto companies who could pay for that type of activity. So we could create very beautiful synergy, and it's definitely possible. But you outlined so many possibilities. It's bigger than any eco village or chain of eco villages. You actually could solve the problems, you need.
I would say that this is the main peculiarity of a waste problem. So this is a very, very complex problem, which should be solved in a very like different ways. And actually, our target right now is to find a settlement or a neighborhood or a society who is willing like to implement the full cycle of waste management in our understanding of it, starting from the choosing the products and services distributors which will operate on the certain territory and which will be corresponding to the ecological standard of that society, ending with an optimization of the waste collection, for example, with the help of the vacuum pipelines instead of trucks, which still generate CO2 into the air. I want to give you like one simple example, if you allow me. For example, in Ukraine, people usually buy many eggs for like preparing dishes, and eggs here like are distributing in a paper boxes. These boxes types of the cardboard is papier mâché. So each of these boxes from different producers have different colors. Just imagine, like here in Ukraine, we have 20 producers, so you have 20 different colors of the boxes. But yes, if you want to sell that boxes as a recyclables to the paper mill as a recycling material, you should sort these boxes by colors and you should keep a track of each color, which is completely impossible. Then imagine when the society or the settlement or the village, no matter, which are managed by somebody who follow this ecological way, they could decide, guys, we understand that we never collect a track of each color of these X boxes. Let's say to the producers, if you want to be distributed on this territory, please make the color of your boxes similar. And
Yes.
because of these peculiarities, these X boxes could not be recycled. They're going to the landfill, you know? But this is very, very, very simple. This is a very, very simple, I would say, stuff which could be implemented by any for example, retailer who are selling the text.
You need to talk more about that, because it's not so obvious. It's like it feels like it's like simple idea, but it's not simple idea. I know a lot of guys thinking a lot about that problem, but you are like years ahead, knowing all of the small issues because of that first-hand experience. Because all of that 12,000 of active users. Yes, it's Pareto optimization. I guess.
Aaron, sorry, before the meeting, you told me that you are buying some like eco products, like in your neighborhood. You drink something like, I don't know, milk or something.
It's ginger beer, non-alcoholic ginger beer in those big bottles, like ginger lemonade.
Okay, is it like in a plastic bottles or in glass bottles?
It's in a glass bottles, and I could, let's say, give it back to, let's say, a local store, and they personally wash it and put the new lemonade. I'm selling that lemonade for $5 again to me.
This is a super cool model. But do you know, like, if the producer or the distributor of a beverages, like in a glass bottles, do not have this model with returning it back, usually the glass bottles, I would say up to 10 times has more negative effect on the nature than the plastic bottles.
Fuck. But those guys very smart. They actually producers itself, and they are producing all of the beverages.
Yeah, that's cool. But you know, in Ukraine, glass is a trick. It's a marketing trick, because usually producers just put like any product into a glass and name it like organic product, and usually give a price like 50% more or 30% higher.
Yeah.
But people think if a glass it's like a nature material, it's like not a plastic, it's more eco-friendly. But it's not true. It's not
Why?
true, because first of all, the glass is very has very big weight. First of all, secondly, the glass could be crashed during collection. Thirdly, the glass as a recyclables have the cheapest price. Just for your understanding, right now we are selling different trucks of recyclables. 1 ton of glass here in Ukraine, which will be shipped to the recycler, will cost around $15 per ton. 15.
Wow.
For your consideration, and understanding, the 1 ton of PET bottles, plastic bottles, costs approximately $700 per ton.
Just unimaginable.
And then just you have 2 numbers, 15 and 700. Compare that numbers and understand that behind of that numbers there should be a very, very big amount of different transactions by collectors, by recycling facilities or sorting facilities, by collecting the sorting materials to the recyclers, etc. So how this could be organized on $15?
It's just impossible.
So that's why glass is not popular even by the ragamuffin. So any ragamuffin will take the glass because he even.
But I'm getting 25 cents. I mean if I'm let's say converting 5 Mexican pesos to United States dollars, I'm getting 25 cents per bottle. Giving that bottle back to those.
If there is a multiple use model in place,
Yes.
it's a good glass is good. But if it's not, glass is very bad, I would say. Unfortunately,
interesting. You need to talk more about that. You know too much to keep it to yourself. It's just unimaginable because I was always thinking that the glass it's like so easily recycled, so could be so easily recycled. It's so great as a material.
Very difficult recycling technology.
Ah, fuck. It's very interesting.
I would say not difficult. It's very it requires huge capital investments because you need like to build a furnace which will burn that glass until it become usable for further glass production. So you need very
it's not like that. We actually evaluate that element of waste recycling. You could create very efficient thermoisolation materials from the not fully recycled glass, and you don't need to put so much energy to recycle glass to create actually the new bottles. You could, let's say, create from all that glass if you manage that correctly. If you have a manufacturing of creating that thermal panels, you could create very efficient building blocks for it's not so problematic. But I do realize that the glass should has different approach and very efficient management. By the way, it's very good information. You could make tons of money because all of the thermal blocks. I mean, I don't recall the name of exactly name of that building material, but you could create very efficient houses out of that blocks and as a thermoisolator. And you could make a lot of money if the glass cost like 15 cents or whatever, 15 bucks per ton. You could create those blocks which cost maybe thousands and thousands of dollars. So it's a very good approach to buy all the glass in Ukraine.
A lot of different recycling technologies all over the world, but the last funny story. Do you know, like in Ukraine, we recycle just 3% of the general of the total waste generation in the country. But it's very funny that Ukraine each year import recyclables from other countries for more than $100 million per year.
What do you mean by recyclables? I don't understand what does.
So from the whole amount of the waste in Ukraine, we recycle just 3%.
I do realize that it's.
But instead of collecting recyclables from our garbage, we import recyclables from other countries and pay for them.
Okay, do you have a market share? I mean, what kind of recyclables are you importing, and is it easy to collect all of the recyclables? And why?
Yes, most of all, we import cardboard, waste paper, and the plastics. Wonderful. And definitely, it's easy to collect because this is the two major, I would say, fractions in the waste take.
Shares the revenue, and you will get a lot of plastic because it's opportunity for people to, let's say, to get just some money for their household. But still, the question is how the plastic bottles is great from the health perspective. Because I'm drinking with a glass bottle, I'm feeling that I'm not contaminating my water with some
in your
strange.
case, everything is good. You should keep going like that. You should keep using the glass bottles. In your case, for example, in Ukraine, people should not use glass bottles at all.
Yes, and I'm still thinking about all of that. Let's say Pareto principle, 80-20 and 80-20 perspective and methodology. Maybe we just could slightly adjust our consumption. We could slightly adjust our behavior and, let's say, exclude a lot of shit going on around the planet, because we just solved CO2 emissions with some small behavior adjustment with one of my guests. Just understanding how the small changes in the behavior could let's say actually solve the biggest problem of our generation. And now it feels like the same with waste management. We could just use the same boxes for our eggs. We could use the proper recycling of glass bottles, whatever. We could just create that. We should not push. I'm not sure it's against your business model or help you. It feels like it could help you because you're mostly IT companies, as you already mentioned. But we should push that, let's say, adjustment of our consumption. We don't need that glass bottles or plastic bottles. I have metal bottle. I could take my stainless steel bottle, go to the store, get even Coca-Cola out of the and take the Coca-Cola in my personal bottle. Yeah, it could be great, like platinum Coca-Cola drinker, whatever. It could looks like Gucci bag. It could be sexy as a fuck.
Yeah, but actually we also promote that approach.
It's normal. Why we need all of that fucking collecting, recycling, money management, waste management? We should just promote the normal behavior, zero waste approach. I don't know. It seems it's possible. And it could be reasonable for you because you will act, let's say, like an intermediate who will, let's say, actually check the necessary behavior. You could, let's say, somehow, let's say, manage all of that process, no matter what's going on. Are they trying to recycle their glass bottle? Are they trying to recycle their plastic bottle? Or they just taking the stainless steel bottle and taking the water or Coca-Cola from the store. But it feels like I like your approach. You're simplifying everything. And talking with you as a professional, I realize that even the strangest ideas in my mind, and it's actually possible because getting that so much experience from your side, I do realize that we just need to simplify our life. We don't need so much waste management and waste generation process in our life. It's just easy. Start with yourself. We're getting back to your first message. We're getting back to the message that you should be responsible. It's not like some religion or whatever. It's just fucking responsibility. You could simplify the life around you just taking the beautiful stainless bottle, not fucking plastic bottle, glass bottle, or whatever bottle. I don't know.
Definitely.
It sounds like that. And thank you for, let's say, giving credits to, let's say, our local recycling, let's say, strategy. It's not mine, just beautiful model. And I see some type of that model should be implemented. We could start with taking personal responsibility. Okay, we have a couple of questions for our audience. Thank you so much for sharing that experience. We'll definitely try to implement that among our Elmas Land followers, Elmas Land citizens, as we call them, and among our Meta Nation. Could you share some news? What's the latest news from Ecola as a project? What kind of news are you willing to share?
The latest news, first of all, we run a new service in Ukraine. It's a postal recycling. So right now, any citizen of any settlement in Ukraine could send us materials for recycling by post. So no matter, even if your government doesn't have any bin for the waste, just a landfill, you could collect recyclables, put in a box, send it to us, and we will recycle it. So this is a service available on the whole territory of Ukraine.
How it's efficient from, let's say, from all of the shipment logistics standpoints, all of the gasolines spent. Is it efficient? It's beautiful as a concept. I like the concept, but is it really efficient to send the waste to through the post?
If we will consider the level of loading the trucks for the largest postal companies in Ukraine, we could definitely say that in every truck which is like going from one city to another city in Ukraine, there is a free space.
Wow.
So and in this case, we are not generate any extra negative effect on the environment.
Wow. It's empty like approach. It's empty like approach.
Yeah, we just put like a new box there, like, but the truck is still like not fulfilled.
Are you getting some discounts from all of that shipping providers? Do you have any discounts?
No, right now, no, because we just launched that service like a few weeks ago. We are expecting quite high demand on it. As soon as we will realize the demand, the next stage will be the negotiations with the delivery with the logistic companies to provide some like discounts for the users. Although we are almost finished with our loyalty program launch, and we expect that like in nearest future we will have quite extended loyalty program for our users. It means that as much you recycle, then more points you will receive, and that points will be you will be able to redeem that points for different special offers, discounts from our partners in different industries, starting from the gyms, ending with the restaurants, cafes, like language courses, dance studios, whenever you want.
Wonderful. It feels like we need to create, let's say, some sort of panel, because I know a couple guys already been with me on that stream, our partners that are willing, let's say, to promote that behavior globally, and ready to, let's say, give money or some sort of cryptocurrency to the people who act properly. So they have it's like sounds like perfect match. We personally, as Elmas Land, also willing to help and willing to give our points for, let's say, our citizens, our meta nation, who, let's say, who will implement your approach. It's very beautiful. So let's talk about the necessity of that type of projects, I mean ecological projects during the war, because let's say, let's be honest, it's a war in Ukraine, and talking about the Latvia, Lithuania, Estonia, and Poland, it feels like we will be affected. And how many people are still thinking about ecological problems even during the war, when so many things distracted, and so many things going on? Could you help us to find the way with all our ecological initiatives through the hardest times in our life?
First of all, I would say that Ukrainians is very interesting nation, because starting from the first day of the war, we received more than 100 requests from our users to provide them glass bottles for preparation of the Molotov cocktails. And actually we did this. People were going to Rava station from different parts of Ukraine by taxi, by trucks, etc. They take the bottles, they take polystyrol, put inside and making that Molotov cocktails to meet to give a warm welcome for the Russian for the Russian army. That was the starting of the war. After that, we had like I would say 1 month and a half break. Almost all our users start keep like silence. Nobody request any service. So that was like a technological gap in our business. But after that, users start coming back like to the recycling, and actually postal recycling is the answer to the request of our users, because a lot of users move to the western part of Ukraine, where our company do not provide the service, and they start asking us, please guys, give us any ability to recycle. We want to continue recycling. How could you help us? Then we provide for them this postal recycling service. So starting from the April, I would say users start come back like for the recycling. And from April until now, we see that like every month give us approximately from 10 to 15% of new users. If we're talking about like existing users, approximately 60% of them is already returned like for the recycling.
Wow, wonderful. So the question is, you have the direct communication with all of that families. What's their motivation? What's their real motivation? Why is they doing that even during the war? What's important for them? What's changed? What's changing that in their lives? That recycling.
You know, our people want to be superheroes, and Ecola provides them such an ability, because when you give us recyclables, we name you as a superhero. And if you will check our social medias, you will see there are a lot of stories reposted. They're cool, I'm a superhero. People love to be a superhero. So Ecola provides them this opportunity. So
wow.
Because with a small step, from your personal initiative, from your personal behavior, you could motivate all people around you to do the same. We have incredible amount of the cases when one person starts using our service, and accordingly to our guidelines, we ask people to put the garbage near to their entrance door. Do not wait for a caller. So a caller will come and take it like remotely without physical contact. Usually when people put their garbage there, people start asking, their neighbors start asking, what the fuck are you doing? Why is there a like waste here? He explains, this is not a waste, this is recyclables. The caller will come and pick it up. Then neighbors start doing that. And we have a lot of examples when from the big apartment building, one household worked with us, but now we are coming there and we collect not one household, we collect recyclables from 100 families.
Genius.
And we did not do any, I would say, central negotiations with this like building management company or anything. So this is just user behavior. When people see something beautiful, something good, they want to be a part of this. And this is like a virus approach, I would say. If you are doing good things, you will definitely find the people who will like this and who will want to join your approach and to share your approach.
You're so ahead of time, by the way. Working sometimes, people from fintech market. I mean, Western Europe fintech market, or even the US fintech market, looking at like some apps like Monobank, looking of all the lending companies from even the private bank, 5 years old products, and feeling like it's so ahead of time, even for Western Europe. I mean, your approach could be implemented in dozens of regions in Spain, Italy, Germany, Czech Republic. You need to create that ambassadors program. It feels like you already described it. You are creating one ambassador. With his action, let's say, introduce your product and your concept in his, let's say, in his neighborhood, and maybe you should create that ambassadors, and that ambassadors program could, let's say, create that huge marketing, maybe bigger than any billions of millions, or any conversations with the big guys. Because trust me, the big guys are not so, let's say, easy to approach in different regions of on Earth, like PepsiCo. I was working with PepsiCo, and I do realize that it's the easiest way. It's work like you from the ground up, and that's beautiful story. It's a great honor to have you today. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Aaron. Thank you, dear audience.
Thank you. Hope to see you again on the next stream. So maybe we'll create the panel discussion with different type of waste management providers that could fit and help each other to, let's say, to grow.
Cool. It was a pleasure to meet with you and with the audience and have this beautiful conversation. Hope it was interesting for everybody. In case of any questions, just write me. I will provide support with any questions regarding the waste management as much as I could.